So we have a new Sword and Shield booster box that has started to take off because of just one single day's sales, and that's Brilliant Stars. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys Brilliant Stars, what's happened to it, talk about some other booster boxes I believe this may happen to in the near future. So Brilliant Stars, you can see right now lowest listed is 495. It was just previously in the mid fours, like around 450, and just before that it was selling in the low fours. As you can see here, just a couple of weeks ago it was in the low fours, but then it started to move up, and now it's all the way up to $500. And you can see here we have sales at that price point, some even a bit more. Some people, if you didn't know, decide to actually buy from some specific sellers, even if they have to pay more. Some are willing to do that, and that's why you see some people here actually paying more than lowest listed. That happens sometimes because sometimes people that are selling have low feedback or amount of sales, so some people are willing to pay up a bit. So yeah, a lot of people decided, you know what, we're going to be buying these Brilliant Stars booster boxes, and you can see some people bought in quantities of 6 and 5, and just you add up those and a few other people that want to buy these, and you see the sales volume skyrocketed one day all the way to 18 boxes. And although that might not sound like a lot, if you're talking about a Destined Rivals booster box or Surging Sparks booster box, it's very different for these out of print sets when there's much less supply. 18 boxes selling on TCG Player in one day versus a brand new modern set is very different, because for a lot of these Sword and Shield booster boxes, the good ones, maybe a few boxes sell every day on TCG Player. There's a lot more sales usually for these boxes on like eBay or other platforms, but therefore, you see a sales volume like this, 18 for Sword and Shield booster box. That's a large amount, which is why these Brilliant Stars booster boxes have just went up from $450 now to $500. And if we actually look to see where this could potentially go after hitting $500, you can see the price jump is ridiculous here. After about 6 boxes sell, it goes all the way to $600. So yeah, this might just be the start, because we are consistently seeing Sword and Shield booster boxes just getting bought out and hitting new price points. And it just happened to Brilliant Stars, skyrocketing here, and it might happen again. If another 6 boxes sell, it'll go all the way to about $600. So pretty crazy stuff to see Brilliant Stars, why it's happening to this box. But there are some good reasons, I believe, why this is happening. I did search up for the set, the top chase cards in the trainer gallery, and the main set, and they are going up in value, and also sales volume has increased kind of simultaneously as these booster boxes have gone up in value. You can see here on this one day, the same day the booster boxes went up, 9 of these alternate arts of the Charizard sold. And for the Umbreon, for the trainer gallery, you can see just the day before, 18 of these sold. So could be a sign of the times. Maybe some people are seeing some value in Brilliant Stars. Maybe people are anticipating because maybe Phantasmal Flames or whatever with the Charizard, possibly this may see some increase in value, but maybe just people are looking at the price point of these cards and like, you know what, it's a good buying opportunity. And I think that just is said for a lot of these Sword and Shield alternate arts. Some of them have started to already move up, but some of them I think are going to make a huge comeback towards the end of the year. And as we see these Sword and Shield booster box rise in value, I think a lot of these cards will follow. And yeah, I think Brilliant Stars for a while was undervalued, and it looks like some people picked up on that, and now these boxes are at $500. And honestly, it doesn't even sound crazy, at least for me, to say that Brilliant Stars is a $500 booster box, because I truly believe, this entire time that this set was always sort of undervalued. I feel like Brilliant Stars was never really, the top running set, and it does have all the components, in my opinion, to do that, and the artworks are pretty good. The Charizard, the Umbreon, the Sylveon, those in the trainer gallery, but it just is not like a front running set. There's other sets like Lost Origin, which the Giratina was made by that popular artist, and so on, and that card's a lot more expensive than the Charizard, hence why the box is more expensive. But Brilliant Stars, I believe, just it having those components of the Charizard and the evolutions in the trainer gallery, it was a very good set and a good pickup, and I think people have caught on. And you can see now these are $500, which I honestly think is somewhat of an appropriate price for this booster box, but that's just my opinion on that. But moving on, just to show you guys what booster boxes are on eBay, if you can find them for any cheaper. I found a couple listings. This is from Canada. I don't know if there's any problems buying from Canada if you're in the United States, but very often Canadian products, or just any Pokemon products, especially booster boxes, I always find that Canada is always cheaper for some reason. I don't know if there's any problems, getting it through the border. I'm not exactly sure if there's any complications with that, but they always seem to be cheaper. And you can see here, you can save about like $50 to $60 buying from Canada. This box does have a small ding on the side here, but it's nothing crazy, maybe a small crease. But you're saving 40, maybe about $50 to $60, so could be worth it from this seller. And they don't have a large amount of feedback, but you guys can check out their account. I'm not sponsored by any of these people to show their listing, but just trying to show you guys some deals. I found one here for around $450. This is from a reputable seller, seemingly. Box looks all right. It's not in mint condition, but it looks to be okay. It has some wrinkles, but I mean, you can't expect all boxes to be 100% mint. But these are a couple boxes I was able to find for a bit under TCG Player lowest listed. You're saving about $50, and they're from Canada, so if you live in Canada, then I guess it won't be maybe as much of a concern. But if you're in the United States, I don't know if there's any problems. I don't know if I've ever bought anything from Canada to know if possibly, I don't know, with the customs. I don't know if they have customs or whatever they go through. I don't know if there's any problems with shipping a product over. I'm assuming there shouldn't be. I remember I bought one Pokemon product from, I believe, the UK, and it came completely sealed and fine. So if you're willing to wait a little bit longer to get a product, because obviously you can see here, like, the range is pretty big, you can save a little bit of money, and maybe by the time you get the product, it'll be a lot more valuable, which would be nice. Now next, I want to talk about some of the products that I believe, some of the booster boxes I see possibly this buyout happening to. So Chilling Reign recently has been going up, hasn't gotten really bought out. I mean, there was a couple days here where there was a decent amount of sales volume, but it's at $600 right now. But I've been talking about this booster box a lot because although in recent history before, like, his Sword and Shield has been going up, Chilling Reign wasn't really doing that much. But now that it's gone up and there's hype with Sword and Shield, it is very possible, I believe, that we may see a day possibly where these get bought up, because the price point it's going to hit once these get bought up after buying them all around like $600. It goes pretty crazy. You can see here there's 4 booster boxes at basically $600, and there's a couple here in the mids, and here it goes to $700. So yeah, it could quickly hit $700 just after about like 6 booster boxes sell. So yeah, these could go up as well, another $100 if people just one day decided, buy 6 of them for under $700, and then it hits $700. So this could definitely happen at Chilling Reign. And just to show you guys a couple of deals also on eBay that I was able to find for cheaper than $600. There's one listing here for $550. Now, there isn't a ton of good pictures. It's kind of in a dark, ominous room, but the box looks like pretty clean. Like, you can see, like, it looks really nice on the front and the back, but I would obviously, ask for more pictures on the top, sides, and bottom just to make sure there's not any rips, because sometimes there could be rips in the seals, but it looks like a very clean box, like a case fresh box, and you're saving about $50. Now, I found this other listing. It's from Canada once again for about $560, adding with the shipping. This looks to be from a case, so these boxes are probably going to be pretty fresh, and they are like about $50 under lowest listed TCG Player. Now next here, this is a big one, Lost Origin. I've been talking about this booster box being potentially one of the best buys ever since it was like at $500 when it went down from $600 from the earlier like Sword and Shield hype we had this year. But now it's at mid 700s, although that is a lot more expensive than the Brilliant Stars booster box or Chilling Reign. I truly believe you are getting value even though you are paying more for this booster box. I really see this booster box being 1,000 plus relatively soon, and there are some pretty big price jumps for these Lost Origin booster boxes, and Lost Origin has just been very strong. Even in the sort of downturns, people were still buying Lost Origin booster boxes over some other ones because it just has that strength. Sort of like Evolving Skies when Sword and Shield wasn't very hyped up after Sword and Shield ended and entering Scarlet and Violet. Evolving Skies kept going up, and it never really slowed down. And Lost Origin, it did see a price dip, but sales volume was still pretty high compared to others. And Lost Origin just shows that it's a top set in the Sword and Shield era because of that Giratina. Now, showing you guys the price jumps we may see here with Lost Origin, you can see just after about 9 boxes sell here, it goes to $900. And after that, you can see these could go to 1,000. Now, all the stuff could potentially happen in a couple days, in one day, but Lost Origin, I really feel like is a set, even though you are paying a higher price for, I think it is validated to be paying this higher price because of that Giratina. It's one of the most iconic alt arts in the Sword and Shield era, and having to pay a couple $100s more compared to some other booster boxes, I think is warranted. And I still don't think buying Lost Origin at this price point is a bad idea. I think buying it now is probably better than waiting, because Sword and Shield, as we see with all these booster boxes, in the example I showed in this video, Brilliant Stars, I do feel like Lost Origin could be one of those boxes where one day a large amount of boxes sell, and it's just that one day, and then maybe we see $900 to $1,000 booster boxes of Lost Origin. Now, this was the only box I was really able to find that was, I guess, worth buying on eBay. It's not really any deal off of TCG Player, but this box is extremely clean, and it comes with a display case, which is worth about $10. But look how clean this box is. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by any of these people. Do all your research and stuff, but this box looks minty, like very minty. As you can see, the seals, everything that collectors care about, looks perfect, and yeah, it looks really nice. So this is one of the boxes that I was wanting to show you guys, even though it's not really much of a deal price wise. Getting a display case and also the box looks minty is a plus. Now next here, Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest has been going up recently. As you can see, there's been consistent sales volume the past week. Right now they're at 425, so they have been going up. You can see here these will stay in the mid $400 range even after about like 10 boxes sell. But once those sell, there's still a bit more here, but then it goes to 500. Silver Tempest is one of those boxes that has been a great value buy because it was staying in the mid threes, high threes for the longest time. And the Lugia, I'm pretty sure, is still at its all-time high or somewhere around there. It's getting pretty expensive. And Lugia, just the Lugia, obviously has also the Rayquaza and the Trainer Gallery. This is going to be a very good set, but it has been cheaper for a while, and it's just been a great buy. Sort of an underrated one in my opinion. And now people are paying attention to it. It's getting bought, and I think buying this still in the low fours is a good idea because I just think Lugia is going to age very well. Now, there's a couple of things I want to show you guys here from eBay. Now, this is a bit cheaper than TCG Player by only about $10, but I did read one review from the seller where you look at this photo, it looks clean, which is why I was like wanting to show this, but I actually looked at the reviews from the seller, and somebody had bought in this was the exact same image that they bought from the listing, and they said the box was like the wrapping was loose or something. You guys can check it out, but this wasn't the box they received seemingly. So that's one thing I'll say about this listing. You're saving a bit of money and there's a best offer, but apparently according to that review I read, it wasn't the same box and they got a box with loose wrapping. Now I did find one box. You're not really saving any money, but it does look clean from the front. It looks like pretty much case fresh. You can't really see all the sides, so maybe you could ask for pictures, but this is basically just paying TCG Player lowest listed, but the box looks extremely clean here. So just want to share this, even though there's really no deals I was able to find for Silver Tempest booster boxes. So that's all I wanted to show you guys in this video. I know I've been talking about Sword and Shield literally every single day, but as you can see right in front of you, every single day something is happening with Sword and Shield, and it's worth mentioning because I know some people out there that may just be starting to invest, that are maybe wanting to go back to Sword and Shield. Time honestly is running out for a lot of this stuff to be able to buy them and potentially save hundreds of dollars, because a lot of these things could get bought out in a day or two, and you literally would have to pay a couple $100s more if you wait a few days. Not trying to induce FOMO, whatever you want to say. It's literally just the facts. You look at what happened with Fusion and Lost Origin, which started this whole sort of Sword and Shield run we're seeing now, and just generally the market is very strong, and I think a lot of people are seeing the value of Sword and Shield right now, and a lot of these are starting to move up. So the ones that have only just slightly moved up, a lot of the great sets like Lost Origin or Silver Tempest or Chilling Reign even, I feel like a lot of those are pretty good buys at their price points, because right now we are seeing a lot of these products get bought out, and Brilliant Stars is just one example of people buying them out at a certain price point. They hit a new price point, and if you didn't buy before then you would obviously have to pay up. So just want to show you guys this. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.